Hello everybody, King Thunderbolt here to kind of give you a little instruction on how to fight in the wars and maybe hopefully give you some tips on being able to be a little more efficient in your fighting. Um, Easiest way to tell when the war season is, and if you follow my cursor up toward the top, you have this little flag that pops up with the two crossed swords and the shields. You click on that, that brings you to a map. Before the war season actually starts, there will be a countdown timer leading up to the time when it starts. This here timer shows 2 days, 12 hours left until the war is over. Now, before I get into the map itself, if you want to know what the war consists of, hit the little the info icon here, and that screen will pop up. Tells you if you get first place, you get the Doomgate, Dracomancer, and Frenzy Frost Blaster. If you get second place, you only get these two. If you get third place, you only get the Doomgate. If you get fourth, fifth, or sixth, you get none of those. The special things going on at the war this time around, you have a skull bonus of 10% added to all of your fights. Win many more magic chests during the war. Sometimes it'll say 4 fights or 5 fights maximum per war. Normally there's 6, so you have to kind of adjust your strategy a little bit sometimes if there's less than 6. And then special season boosts, you have Blessing Wolf and the Healer Arrow Tower. As long as the team you're on keeps the boosts going, they're active, you will have those available to you during the war. You can keep them going after the war too, but as it is right now, we have ours activated. We keep them going through the war, so that should help anybody on our team that uses the Wolf or the Arrow Towers. So let's get back to the map real quick. The map is set up with these little tiles. Each one of these are called a fiefdom, or a fief for short. And each one of these colors is a different team. Like the white is let's go. You know, they're not ranked very high. They only have 15 people. They have 24 fiefdoms, but they're not doing too bad. They still have 3. We're a couple days into the war already. This team here, 1, 2, 3, 4 fiefdoms. They also have 15 players, but they're doing pretty good, and I'll show you in just a moment. Our team is this one over here, the Cause. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the fiefdoms we have. 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are in 3 battles right now. This is our offensive battle. We're fighting. We attacked this team here. They only have 1 left, so if we beat them, they will be out of the war altogether. It's just like this team here. They're technically playing an offensive battle. They have nothing to defend anymore. If they win this one, they'll claim that tile, and they'll be able to keep going. If they don't, they're done. So we have this offensive battle going, and then we have this team attacking us here, and this team attacking us there. So we have 2 defensive battles and an offensive battle. I'll show you the standings. Standings here, just to reiterate, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. I had that backwards, I'm sorry, earlier. 1st place gets the Frenzy Frost Blaster, Dracomancer, and Doomgate. 2nd gets those 2, and 3rd just gets the Doomgate. They do rotate these every war season, so it'll be different. The idea is to try to get 1st, obviously, but 2nd or 3rd, placing those is just as good, depending on what you want for your boosts. Sometimes a team specifically tries to go for a certain one. Most of the time, you try to get first place. That's always the ideal. But sometimes you get a strong team like this team here. Don't underestimate them. 309,000. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. All the wars they've been in so far have been really high scoring games. So they've won everyone that they played so far, and we've won everyone we played, but we played against a weaker team. Matter of fact, they've only scored 18,000. So there's a good chance that they'll lose this one. Both of these teams will probably be out after tomorrow morning when these battles are over. So we're looking at the skull bonus. Let me show you that real quick, what that means. Now, keep in mind we have 205,000. Our skull bonus says alliances will share the additional skull bonus. Skulls gained in unsuccessful wars, ones you lose. And the difference in fiefdoms determine who gets the biggest share. Now, we haven't lost any yet, so our bonus is 0. The underdogs, 0, because neither one of us have lost any. These other teams have all lost something. So they get all the skulls that they used in their fights, every fight that they've had so far. That's why we always preach every skull counts, because it does. See, there's not many between these two here. This team here is the one that doesn't have any fiefdoms left, but they have a 3.9% bonus, which plus 10%, because that's the war. That's what the war conditions are this time. So they have a 13.9% bonus over whoever they fight. So that benefits them. That helps them. It's kind of like a handicap in certain sports. But anyway, that's what the skull bonus does. I'll touch on that in a second. The history, that just is a quick thing. Tells you all the battles we've played. We've had 2 offensive battles and 1 defensive battle. We've won all 3 of them. We can go into details and it'll show the score and what each player did, if they helped or if they did not help. Sometimes people can't make it on every day. Depends on how your alliance is set up, if that's okay, or some teams want maximum participation. We really try to preach, the wars and conquest especially. We want as much participation as possible. As we grow as a team, we win as a team. There's times when we've played and it's unbelievable how close things have gotten, and it's because people have put their time in and they've done their fights and they've helped, that the team benefited from it. So, this is a team game. This isn't just a single player game. So that's how that goes. Real quick to show you, this is our offensive game. We got 22,000. They only have 2,000. So we're 20,000 skulls over them. Now, to show you something real quick, there's 10 hours and 52 minutes left in this battle. That means in that 10 hours, they can come back at the last minute and score enough to beat us. Never, ever underestimate a team. They could come back at the last second and win if you let your guard down. So just because we only have 6 people that have actually bothered to play this war, we've asked that they help in the other ones that we need more help in. So this will be the last one that they do help in. But since there's only 6 people that have actually done anything in this war, there's not going to be a lot of skulls. And there's a good chance that if they get a lot of people that decide they're going to play between here and the next 10 hours, they could possibly come back. You never know. But then again, by the time the rest of our team plays the other fights, they can come over here and start playing these ones and run this score up a little bit more too. Now, I'll show you this one here. 10 hours, 47 minutes to go. We're behind in this one, 40,000 to 32,000. That's not hard to beat. And we can beat that when you come back from like a 20,000 point deficit and won before. So what you will notice is King Vinny here has a pair of crossed swords. Those swords mean he's been championed. These things across the top, those mean that's a champion, and those are shields. Same thing goes over here. These are champions, and these are shields. A champion means you can. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there it is. Nope. I don't want to click on it and do it by mistake. There you go. Nope, that ain't going to tell you either. Anyway, a shield will take you down about half the amount of skulls you would normally lose in a battle. If you are shielded, you get about half of that if somebody tries to fight you. I'll show you what that'll mean in just a moment. If you get championed, you get an extra 10 fights. So instead of just 6, you could do 16. Now, this is all incremental, because after the first 3 fights, you only get a percentage. So he's already done 7 more fights than he originally did, and he's got roughly 2,000 more out of that. So if you think you're going to champion and get another 10,000, it ain't going to happen. You might get 2,000 or 3,000 by the time that it is all done. You might get less than that. It all depends on the war situation and the team you're fighting. And then, of course, your skull bonus. Now, here's the thing. This team we're fighting, they got smart. They've got 1 guy championing, 2 guys championing. So they got 2 guys that are going to do 10 extra fights against us. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players that are shielded, which means you only get half the amount of skulls when you play them. I'll show you, like this guy here, Gable CS. You click on him, shows 527 in red. He would have normally given 1054 or something like that. He gets knocked down in half. Now, show you here a little trick. If you go on to click on that, and I've already fought all my battles. I fought my 6 of 6, so I cannot fight anymore in this. It'll tell you that if you do. Now, I have skull perks on some of my gear. So my maximum that I can score is 1172 against somebody. Now, I've only got 313 against him because he was way overpowered. You know, I couldn't beat him. I didn't do very well. So I only got 313. Only got 1 crown. The idea is to get 3 crowns in a fight. So you do this left and right, and you can scroll through the whole team. Okay. Problem is when you already fight somebody, it doesn't scroll through. But anyway, 1172. That's the top. That's my top thing. So it's maxed out for skulls if I was to fight him. Now he's got Furious Hans as his defensive beast. Let's see. Now these guys here are going to be a little tricky. Both of these top 2 are shielded, but they were shielded after I already beat them. So I got maximum amount of skulls from them before they got shielded. If I click on it now, I would only get 527. So I got lucky. I got in before that was done. Now all 3 of these I have maximum amount of crowns, and I got, let's see, 3, 4, 5, and then this was my 6th fight. You look over here on the left, it says top 3 battles. That is your most important number right there, because your top 3 are going to be your highest amount of score. You want to try to get the maximum amount of skulls you can get with those top 3. Anything after that, after you fight 3 different players, you could fight them again, or you could fight other people, other players down the line. It's encouraged to fight ones that'll give you the maximum amount, obviously. But then sometimes you can't. And I will show you what I mean by that on this other team, this third team we're playing here. They are actually a pretty tough team. 51,000 to 28,000. Now, we got a lot that haven't done their fights yet. We have an alliance that plays all over the world. So some guys don't get on to later on in the war. Some guys don't play, some start at the beginning of the war. What I always say is don't look at something and say, hey, we're going to win this. I don't have to bother doing my fights. Please do your fights anyway. This is part of a team. It doesn't matter if we're winning now. We might not be winning later because they may have a whole team that shows up at the end of the fight, and then we're just kind of left sitting there going like, hey, what happened? So what I want to show you here, click this on. I've fought 3 players so far in this war. 1, 2, 3. Shows I've fought 3 of 6. Now, this one here I fought and I won all 3 crowns, so I got the maximum amount. This one here I only got 2 crowns. This one here I only got 1 crown. But if you look at the numbers, they're very, very different. This one here, if I would have gotten maximum, I would have gotten 1172. But because I did not get all the towers knocked down and the gate, I did not get the 3rd crown, so I did not get 1172. I came close. I'll tell you the difference between this one and that one. This one here, the maximum of what I gotten, was also 1172. Difference is, as I'm going through this one, I died quite early. Now you can revive yourself, you can do whatever you want to do, but the thing is, you got to make it worth it. And for me, that one was, I just couldn't do it. It was pretty tough for me. So I only got 1 crown. I did not finish this level. I did not finish this base. So obviously I only got a paltry 319. This one, although I did not get 3 crowns, I did finish it. See the huge difference between numbers here? If you get toward the end, and the reason I did not finish this one with all the towers is because I didn't have enough time. If I stopped and tried to get all the towers, I wouldn't have gotten the gate. I wouldn't have had time to get the gate. So I was toward the end and I realized, hey, I can run and get the gate and still get more skulls than I would if I just sat there and tried to hit all the towers. So that's something to keep in mind. Even if you're just regular fighting, not in the wars, if you get close toward the end of somebody's castle and it gets to the point where you're not going to be able to get everything, rush to the gate and knock the gate down. At least get that, because then you will get more skulls and there's chances you're not going to lose trophies. But if you do like this one here, where I was just trying to knock all the towers down because I didn't have time to get to anything else, I didn't have time to get to the gate, you're going to lose trophies, you're not going to get money skulls. It's always best to knock down the gate at all costs. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you something too. So remember, this list, sorry, I'll go back for a second, I'll show you. This list, outside of the top 3, everything is downward from the top number of trophies all the way down. And these are pretty tough people here. 4,000s, 3,000s are pretty decent. And it goes all the way down to, whatever they got. Lowest guy is 583. So what I will do, oops, wrong button. I'll show you something here. Just because someone has a higher number of trophies does not necessarily mean they are a tougher fight. Sometimes it depends on who they have as a beast. Sometimes it depends on what their defensive units are. Some of the tougher defensive units will give you more skulls if you beat the base, also give you more trophies or more medals. And this guy, he's way out of my league. I'm not even going to attempt to try him. And if you're so far away that there's no chance you're going to beat the person, that'll say 0. Whether you win and beat them, you'll still get 0. If you lose, at least you won't lose anything. Sometimes it's kind of fun to try to play some of these higher up ones, because you ain't going to lose any trophies, but you can get some good money if you get somewhere, anywhere in there. Even if you get a quarter of the way through, say you get 100,000, hey, it's better than trying to play someone closer to your level and you might get 20,000. So that's something to think about too. But moving down, 1172. Trying to go down till I find the next number. Okay, 1164. That's a little bit less. 1140. Still going down. 1115. 1059. Oh, 1059. Now it's going up again. It's 1140. Why? That one may be. This guy may actually be a higher level player than the one above him. Well, the other one would have given me 1,000. This one gives me 1,100. Could be the beast. Could be the units. Don't look at the trophies as being the deciding factor of who you fight. Go in here and then scroll up, scroll down. You know, find the one that suits you best. And if you think you can beat Celestial Phoebe, go for it. If you can't, okay, well, let's try someone else. Maybe he doesn't have it. Nope, he does. Yay. I'm not going to go through all of these, but now see, there's a Vicious Bucky. Okay? I can't beat Celestial Phoebe, but I can beat Vicious Bucky. So I would click on that. Now, just because that has 994 skulls versus 1174, you know what? That's only maybe 100 and something less. Even if you were to fight somebody with a low amount of skulls, think about that. 994. Let's go back for a second. I tried to fight somebody that was lower number of trophies than me, but was so much harder. I only got 319. Had I fought that low level guy, I would have got 900 and something. That's 600 more that I would have gotten up here. So what I'm going to do, I have 3 more fights left. I'm going to fight a little lower down. I'm probably not going to get 1172 in my next ones. I might get 1,000 or something like that. But you know what? It's going to be better than 319. And if I get one that's higher than this, it'll knock that down. It'll count the top 3. So that's an important thing to know when you're doing this. And each one of these are fiefdoms. In the end, and I just clicked that on by mistake, sorry. In the end, see, we have 30 right now. The end is end of the war. You want to win more fiefs. You want to have more than you started with. So now, trying to see if there's anything else that I had that. Let's see. Oh yeah. In your stuff here, your gear, go to your castle, your throne room, and then look at your gear. I have 1, 2, 3 items that have skull gear. I have a skull boost of 6%. It's been forged a lot because there's only 0.03% when I go to forge it again. It's not going to give me a whole lot, but I've incrementally built that up from what it was. It was like 4.9 or something originally. And add that, and that together, and you get a skull boost of 15.5%. So when I go to fight, I have this top one up here. This one I have all my gear set for fighting in the wars. That way, when I'm fighting against somebody else, I can get more points with my skulls. Now, you saw that map I had on here a minute ago where I had 3 different fights we're fighting. If you fought 6 fights, each fight would be, at least for me, it was 220 bread. Well, my farm's 1100, full. And each one of these only does so much, only gives so much. So what you want to do is, as you start fighting, come back to this screen, and, well, it's already been boosted, so I can't show it to you, but there's a little purple arrows, kind of like, oh, where's it at? These, right here. These purple arrows, the circle with the two purple arrows on them, those will be here in your farms. It'll be right over here. And that is what you use to boost your farms. And it'll make them go faster so that you will refill faster, so you can do more fights without having to wait however many hours to refill the thing. That helps when you have a lot of fights to do, like 3 different battles, for instance. So that's something to keep in mind. But we're going to start, we're going to get back to fighting here. We've got, we're about 100,000 behind these guys, so we still got a lot of fighting to do. But anyway, this is the wars. I hope I've explained it fairly well enough. I'm sure there's probably something I missed, but I tried to do a little bit better this time. Anyway, thank you for watching. Good luck, and fight on.